When your gut's been traumatised, this could be due to surgery, it could be when you're preparing for surgery, or you're bereaved and you're really struggling with your digestive system, or you've had to have part of your intestine removed and you have a stoma, whether it's temporary or permanent. You're often advised to go on a low-residue diet. Now that's a very scientific term, but in essence it means that you need to go on a diet that doesn't traumatise and stress your gut out. Now often the most traumatising and tough thing for your gut to deal with is something that we associate with healthy eating, and that's fibre. We all know that fibre is generally good for you, and that's found in whole grain bread, vegetables, fruits, grains, lentils, beans. But when you're having to follow a low residue diet, those are the foods you need to avoid because they can cause an obstruction, they can make you feel horribly uncomfortable and cause a lot of problems and pain. But if you look at low residue diet sheets, they can be so uninspiring and boring, and you just see blancmange, you see jelly, and there's very little flavour. Now you mustn't have too much spice because that can overload the gut, but that doesn't mean that you can't use a lovely flavoured oil that you've infused some basil overnight in the olive oil, or you've used a little bit of cumin, again to infuse the flavour within the oil, and then you use it in a soup. Now I've just made a gorgeous vegetable soup, and I've used a little bit of the root vegetables. Now root vegetables like carrots, parsnips, swede, potato are really gentle generally in our gut. So we generally say sort of 1 or 2 portions a day can just be enough for the gut to get some lovely flavours and some goodness, but it doesn't overload the gut. So a simple, blended, really easy to digest soup is a perfect recipe for when you're having to follow a low residue diet.